Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Wow.
Oh, I do. I am having issues with my computer. Um, I cannot get the agenda and stuff to come up. Miss Kelly, does it look like we have a quorum?
Not yet. I see Miss Chris Kiefer is here and you, and it looks like that's it right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Do you need me to forward you the agenda again? Would that help?
Yeah, if you could, I don't know, for whatever reason, my computer just got replaced, and I have to go back and set everything back up, but I keep getting an error message. If you could just send me the cover page agenda part, all the other stuff is coming through, but for whatever
Oh,
reason,
okay.
just that first page won't.
Okay, give me just a second, and we have some more people coming in.
Great. Hey, John.
Hey, John, you all right?
Yes, sir. Had to get my work laptop replaced, and of course, nothing's wanting to work right.
That's how it goes. I had to update Zoom just to join the meeting. So
That too. And then I can't get the agenda. Oh, wait, hold on. I just cut the email. Let's see. See, it's still. An error exists on this page. Acrobat may not display the page. No doubt. Okay, well.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, Frank, how you doing?
Great, how about yourself?
Doing well, doing well. John, John, I may have to defer to you to step in because it's not giving me access to nothing. I can't do nothing. My Adobe thing is either not updated or what. So my agenda, nothing. And thank you, Kelly. I did get the agenda cover, but I'm still getting the same thing. I'm getting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I know I went through this with my old laptop before it crashed.
It looks like the more I mess with it, it's moving around. I tried to do a snippet and send you another email just so you can have an image, but it looks a little
Just as bad. Oh, I can see that one now.
you see it? Okay.
Yeah, I
It's-
can see that one. Goodness. Okay. Let's see here. You know, computers are either your best friend or your worst nightmare. All right. How many people we got now, Kelly?
I think you're up to 4.
Oh,
Mr. Edson, Mr. Anderson, Ms. Kiefer. Sarah, yes, you have 4.
so still no quorum. Because quorum was what, 7?
It was 6.
Was it 6? Well, I guess we'll proceed, even though we technically don't have a quorum. Is there any public comments?
No, we have not received any comments.
No quorum, so we can't approve the minutes. Office of Small Business Opportunities.
Good afternoon. My name is Erica, for the record, Erica Wade, Office of Small Business Opportunity. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into our report. So as far as our SLBE certified firms, currently it shows that we had 119. We're actually at 120 now. We had an update since we did the report. Just to kind of go over some of the things that we did since we met last. So on April the 29th, we had the Deep Dive Financials, Where's My Money workshop that was held at the Decker Center. Mr. Chuck Whipple, he was the facilitator for that particular class, and we had over 20 participants that participated in that class, which was pretty good. Of course, the first week of May was considered as Small Business Week. So on the 1st of May, we had a kickoff press conference at Craft Acts, where we had Mr. Brown that spoke, and then at council, we had the resolution that was read by Councilman Pugh. And on the 2nd, we had Ms. Pam Green, who participated in the Chamber of Commerce breakfast briefing workshop, and that went pretty good. Then we had the ribbon cutting. We had a ribbon cutting. It was the North Main Senior Medical Center that was on North Main, and Ms. Councilwoman Yvonne McBride was in attendance, and she spoke at that ribbon cutting. And then we had the City of Columbia. They had their annual Small Business Week, which was the 5th of May, and that was held at the Medallion Center. And we also participated in the matchmaking program that they had, and that was well attended. Kudos to the city. And then on this weekend, we had the Black Expo, where our office was also in attendance, and we had about 30, 40 individual small businesses that came to the table, and we was able to talk about all the programs and workshops and trainings and the SLB program that we have here at the county. Also, we have conducted our interviews for our positions, so we're getting ready to make a decision on that shortly. So hopefully, maybe by the next time we'll have a 4th person actually joining us on the call. Overall, I think that's what we have. I don't think I missed anything. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, one more thing. On June the 7th, we are going to have our June workshop talking about the power of strategic partnerships. And we will have Ms. Candice Shiver of the Shiver Group. They will be facilitating that particular workshop, and that's going to be virtual. So that's June the 7th, the power of strategic partnerships. So that's coming up. That's our next workshop.
That sounds like it's going to be a good one.
Yes.
Yes, very much. All right, thank you, Miss Wade. Anybody have any questions for her? All right, we'll move on to the comments.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jackie Bowers, the Director of Operations with the Comet. So I will start my report on page 11 of your package. And item A, the last time I gave a full report on the electric buses that we ordered. So I'll just give you like a brief update on what we're doing now. So we're still receiving blueprints of the buses to look at the specs. So everything that has to go on the inside of the bus, on the outside of the bus, like the radios, the antennas, the decals, two-way radios. So everything that goes on the bus, inside and outside, we have to look at the blueprint and say yay or nay, and then move on from there. So we're still receiving those blueprints, and that's been going on now for, I would say, the last month and a half. Okay, so we'll move on to page 12. And actually, I will cover page 12 in detail, starting on page 13. So our completed sites for the shelters and benches, we didn't have any for this period. The approved sites, we have a bench that was approved. Bus stop number 1650 at Hardscrabble and Bush Road, Bush River Road. And we're still waiting on the completion of the Hardscrabble widening, that project. That's been going on for a while. So the site's currently under permit review. We have a stop at the West Hospital and Sunset Drive near the Lexington Medical Center. And that's also is in review as far as the easement. So page 14, sites in design, we have 6 shelters presently and 18 benches right now. Okay, page 15, we'll go to our ridership. So the ridership for April was 147,800. And for the same time last year, it was 134,878. And I'm sure that was contributed to April of last year. Is that when we lifted the mask requirements on the buses, when the passengers had to wear masks, we had social distancing. So that was all lifted April of last year. So that's why the ridership went up. And that was a 9.58% increase. Okay, page 16. Continue with the ridership. So as I stated, April was 147,800. And the previous month, which was March, was 158,632. And that was a 6.8% decrease. I know what your package states February, but that should have been March. So it was a 6.82% decrease compared to March for the ridership from month to month. Page 17, average daily ridership. So you can see where January through March of this year, the ridership gradually increased each month, and then it went back down in April to 147,800. And that's the same for the average daily ridership as well. Okay, page 18. The Gamecock ridership. These are the USC routes. So it's 21,255 total passenger boardings for the present month. And compared to March, there was like a difference of 721. So there was a slight decrease, a difference for the USC routes. Okay, page 19 are our financials for period ending March 31st, our financial report. And we do have Ms. Rosalind Andrews in this meeting. She's our CFO. If you have any questions about the financials. And also it continues on page 20, which is also our DBE tracking report. So that actually concludes my report. If you have any questions, I'm open for questions at this time.
While John stepped away, it appears, for a moment, I'm just curious, with the ridership, are we seeing any trends or any specific routes that are lacking, or any events between March and April that would have made that difference of, I guess, 10,000 riders over the course of the month? It looks like only maybe 1,000 were university. I expected that to be a bigger number, but.
Right. No, and the thing about ridership, a number of things can cause it to increase, decrease. I mean, we've seen that over the years. So nothing really specific kind of stuck out that caused that. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that fluctuation as it moves forward. And I'm sure we'll see a dramatic decrease for USC ridership in May. So
yes,
that'll
exactly.
hit especially hard. And but thank you very much for breaking out these numbers for me and bringing all this information for us this week.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hey, Ms. Bowers, this is Frank Anderson. About how many electric buses do we currently have in the fleet?
We don't have any presently.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have any. We're getting 4, so we don't have any right now.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Any more questions for the comment? And I just lost my. All right, Mr. Maloney, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. We've got some upcoming ABs with Transportation Ad Hoc Committee, looking at the county's road maintenance chapter on dirt road paving. Just a little ordinance change there that we'll be bringing forth on consent denial to help move that process forward. And then InnoVista Phase 3, we're just solidifying the funding that we have available on that. And then bringing forth a briefing document to kind of do a needs study of the county and look at master planning the roads again for another 20 years. And so bringing a RFP out on that to get some consultant help with that using our Penny's corridor study project that hadn't been started yet. So we thought we'd get started on that, get that done this year, 24, and completed by, say, March of 2024. As far as general information, we did have the ribbon cutting on Main Street pretty well attended, and good to kind of get that project wrapped up. I learned a lot about it in preparing for that, and that the city manager of engineering, which is Dana Higgins, started her career on that first phase of that project before the Penny, where it would tie into Elmwood and go for about a mile. And then Penny did over another 1.5 miles of it, but taking it up to the north, and it's quite a change in another alternative route in the city, and I guess the more of those we can create, the better. Atlas Road widening, talking about pre-construction updates. That project had its final plans go to DOT so they can do their final review on it for a construction set. And that was about 2 weeks ago. So generally, by our agreement with DOT, they would typically take about 5 weeks to complete a review, and they have a lot of different expert divisions to send it to for comments. So that's out in that pipeline for review. We did have some easements to obtain on it for Columbia Water, and we're wrapping that part of it up. But it looks like we're just going to have a meeting with our OET and all the staff augmentation staff to go over all the items left on that project so we can get it out to bid. There's items left, and then there's items we need to get done to get it out to bid. And the latter is the shorter list. So it should be out soon. Bluff Road widening phase 2. We're going to be checking in with our OET on that project, looking for getting those responses completed and back into DOT so we can get the final right-of-way work going. Broad River widening, I mentioned maybe at our last meeting we had perhaps, maybe not. Did we have the meeting before April 27th last time? Maybe. So we had the 200 people show up to that event, and it was a really good turnout. So one of the best public information meetings I've been to as far as turnout. A lot of people came. The OET had the whole alignment down 2 different tables, so you could go to either one and have representatives from the design there to answer your questions. And then we had the big screens up with our land acquisition consultant there to explain each person that was interested in how it affected their property could get their questions answered by the experts sitting there that would be involved in that process of where right-of-way is needed. So all in all, very positive reaction to the project. Get it done, get it built is the consensus on that. A few people didn't want to see the project road widened, but that was about it, 2 or 3 out of a couple hundred there. And any questions on that? All right. Bluff Road widening phase 2, I already mentioned. Crane Creek Greenway, that one is along the Broad River Road. It's just south of I-20, and that triggered a phase 1 SHPO, State Historic Preservation Office. So our OET is working on getting that out and submitted for the SHPO review. Just continuing in design. Train Creek, NIP, we're working on the final plans of the new sidewalks for phase 2 and 3. That's still in design. Lower Richland Boulevard, we have a meeting upcoming with SCDOT to talk about some things where they want the alignment maybe to go a little further in a couple of directions, and I have to meet with them. I just returned from annual leave from last week, so we didn't have a meeting yet. But we will be meeting with them to review their comments. Percival Road sidewalk. That one had a challenging property that we are changing from a permission to an easement, and the attorney's working on that for the penny, getting that nailed down. But we're also sending our finals to SCDOT for authorization to proceed with construction. Polo Road Greenway. We're meeting with, that's that Greenway project that's right near the corner of Alpine and Polo, where Polo comes into the signal just on the north side of I-20. And this Greenway would start and then head around, kind of like the I-77 interchange up near the Catholic High School. And we just drove around that today. We met with one of the property owners today, and I think it's in a June date to meet with the other. So when school's out, apparently. So we want to kind of go over some alignment options and a study that was completed by our OET on that. Meet with them and then kind of go public with the options with their feedback involved in it. Because we understand there may be really strong particulars from the owners. Polo Road widening. We did receive comments from SCDOT on the preliminary plan submittal. And then CERN Phase 2, we're working on design there of the sidewalk project that's being added to CERN. Shop Road Extension Phase 2. It's kind of a project, well, it's a project we just started off and kicked it off. It's in its infancy. It's looking at the different alignments. I understand there were public meetings on it before. It was a project that was de-scoped in, say, 2020, and that changed its alignment. But before we proceed, we want to, we're having meetings not only with economic development, but county planning on that for really interpreting what the best corridor is to take that road. All points have kind of made it curve to Garner's Ferry Road, kind of heading up in the northeast fashion. But county planning wants to look at that for proper corridor planning. So we've got a meeting coming up on that later this week. Spears Creek Church Road widening. So we had 60% plans go back in March, and we're addressing the comments, and we anticipate getting the return on the right-of-way comments from SCDOT at the end of this month on the 31st. And then once we get an ATP authorization to proceed from DOT there, we can begin Spears Creek Church Road property acquisition. All right, so the other projects do have progress to them. We didn't have any milestones, so we probably need to look at that if we do hit some. One of them is, Alpine Road sidewalk. So we're waiting to hear on approval to get that going. And Shop Road widening, we did kind of at the bottom of that page, we did have 70% plans submitted back in March, and they did indicate they're getting us the comments like in the next week or so on those, so we can get right-of-way comments, get those installed so we can get to right-of-way on Pineview Road. And then just also kind of in that area, Trenholm Newcastle Neighborhood Improvement Plan. We did meet with the Neighborhood Association in the Trenholm District last week with Councilmember McBride, and got comments. We did discuss and share out the adjustments to the plan. It's quite a few. It's probably about, I'd say, 4 miles of sidewalk throughout that neighborhood. They asked how it was going to be phased, and I said at this time I have no phasing plan. We may bid it out at once, so we're looking into that. Sunset Drive sidewalk. We did get right-of-way comments returned back on April 17th as an update to that. So we're working on those to get that back out for final approval for construction. The construction updates, work goes on with Blythewood Road widening. We did get an updated property map for how much of the county property we need for the bottom of the roundabout to put the wider bottom on the roundabout. And we're sending those plans over to DOT for their review as well. But we needed to get that right away underway and prepared since we are in construction, so that the utility relocates can happen and they know that they have property and easement to relocate the utilities. So that is going to be recorded, and we'll just make the proper transfer of funds from the penny to ensure that that right of way is secured. I talked about North Main Street. Resurfacing package S is underway. There was a change order for Deer Track Drive to fix a valley gutter drainage issue. Resurfacing package T, we have a change order for Signal Lane up by Lake Murray for adding some 2 catch basins and pipes. It says and inlet structures, but 2 inlet structures then and some junction manholes to hook onto an existing storm sewer system that had low spots in the subdivision that were constantly a problem for the pavement and collecting dirt in the road. So we're adding some storm sewer in that, and every now and then on the resurfacing packages we run into those kind of issues to take care of, make minor improvements along the way. So that's what we have, and still Alpine, Percival, Sunset, and Atlas Road widening, waiting to get going. So we want to get those out to bid. That's our report.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Maloney?
Everything's still running pretty smooth with Bull and Elmwood and making progress on that one?
Yes, there was a little bit of delay with during the I-77 deck work, which was necessary, I guess, to take on the additional traffic through there. But now, ever since that, about 2 weeks ago, I know Columbia Water and other utilities started relocating, so it's moving back in progress again.
So does that mean the Penny's contractor is kind of on hold while those utilities are relocated, or is that being handled through your contractor?
Yeah, that's what I notice every morning. They're having to go through the relocation work, and then you're not going to see a lot of curb and gutter progress until that's all out of the way.
Okay. So it's the Penny's contractors doing those relocations for those other parties.
In some cases, they have some storm sewer to do, but in other cases, it would be the other utilities that they're moving. It's all kind of wrapped into their whole time frame, knowing those are occurring and that they have to be completed in September. So they're aware of that. But
okay.
So far, they've on the schedule.
Okay, interesting. Very good.
Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Maloney? Well, sir, it looks like you're off the hot seat.
All right, thank you.
Let's see. Our next scheduled meeting is June 26th. And Miss Kelly, do we have a update or anything to report on any new appointments or the membership?
No, we haven't received any news of any new appointees, but we do have it. I did double check and it's posted on the county site that we have at least 4 vacancies. I believe they have it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I don't mean to, if I might add something,
Yeah,
just to say that we are working on a new website, and Kelly reminded me of that today, but we do have meetings on it every other week, and it's going to be, maybe it'll be a county standard, but it's certainly the Penny website that we want to make more user friendly, and because things are on there like, where to apply, and it has an application system for committee seats. We want to make that as easy and apparent to people as possible. So, we've got experts working on it that understand, minimizing the number of clicks and also making it look clean and provide information up front. We know that our current website has some old information in it and needs to be, it needs to be something that we as staff can edit easier too. So that's being managed right now to bring in a whole new site.
that'd be nice to see.
I'm sorry to interrupt, John. Is it all right if
No,
I ask a question? I noticed that rules and appointments in their April 18th agenda had an item for quarterly attendance reports, including TPAC. Were we able to provide any information for that, or we could check YouTube and see how the conversation went?
What we have to do is after each meeting, I have to upload. They have a form for us and I put in the attendance. So I think the clerk compiles all of those. And for instance, if I go a certain amount of time after this meeting and I don't do it, they check in to say, hey, you forgot to do your attendance. So I think what they were doing was compiling everything and discussing it. But I'll go back in and check on that meeting and see exactly what they were talking about. But that is
Okay.
how they get the attendance for each meeting. They have a responsible person for each committee that has to go in and notate who was there and who was not.
That's very helpful. And as I scroll down, I can see those attendance records here. So thank you.
No problem.
All right. Anybody have anything else? Well, the time is now 4:38. We can consider ourselves adjourned. See y'all next month.
Yeah.
Thanks, y'all.